and welcome back to the Full Scope Comic Podcast. We have been gone for almost 3 weeks now, but we are back.
I was gone to Disney and getting roasted by the sun. But yeah, now we're back. We've got a lot to talk about. A lot of Marvel and DC happenings in the world. And I'm super glad to be here with Josh.
Yes. Back into the seats.
Yeah.
God, that sounded weird. Back into the seats.
Back in the seats of the chairs to begin the podcast.
Yes, we have so much to talk about because, just in 2 weeks, this past 2 weeks have been crazy.
Yeah, so we've gotten Shang-Chi trailers. We've gotten 2 What If episodes. We got today an Eternals trailer that just totally blew the first one out of the water.
Well, and I was like, yes, on the day we do the podcast, we luck out every freaking time.
I know.
We'll push it back a day, and it's like, new trailer.
Spider-Man's going to come out,
hopefully
probably
any day.
Our next trailer, or our next podcast is going to be the birth of it.
I hope they release a trailer.
But they got to.
Yeah, we got a Venom trailer that we haven't talked about. And we might talk about a little bit.
War for Wakanda in Avengers. It's bringing a lot of people back. It might bring me. We have yet to see.
Guardians of the Galaxy video game comes out in like less than 2 months.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
In October 20th, or I guess it comes out in about 2 months.
With the latest What If, I've got like Guardians on the mind.
That's exactly what I thought. I was like, when I watched, Ashley won't watch it. When I watched What If, I was like, oh man, I forgot about the game. And then I looked it up on Google, and now all I see on Facebook is nothing but ads for Guardians of the Galaxy, which I'm excited about.
Yeah.
But there's this tail end of the year.
It's getting stuffed. We've got, outside of that, it's like a new Battlefield, new Call of Duty, all these new games, all the new movies that were delayed.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, all the movies that were pushed off last year are here. New Halloween, new Ghostbusters, Free Guy just came out. All 2 Marvel movies within a 3-month period, which is, I don't know if that's ever, there was I guess there was Black Panther and
Infinity War.
Captain Marvel and Infinity War, and that was a pretty tight gap. But and then we've got Spider-Man also. So 3 Marvel movies. What If?
TV shows.
Oh yeah, it's a good time.
It's a good time, but with the COVID crap, it still sucks because it's nothing can be opened up 100% like it used to be, and I have a bad feeling that Spider-Man's going to be pushed back just because. I'm glad with the Eternals trailer we got this comes out November 3rd. I'm like, oh yeah, so they are going to stick to their guns hopefully and release it this year. So
I think they've seen how successful Disney Plus can be, even though they're not releasing, as far as we know right now, on Disney Plus, which they should.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with the whole Scarlett Johansson, I don't even think we've had time to talk about that.
Yes, that happened when I was gone.
Yeah, I was right when you left, I think, or right after you left.
Yeah, and even Kevin Feige was no, I'm on her side, which is.
At first, I was like, is Kevin Feige? Because I saw a rumor that was Kevin Feige's going to leave Marvel. I was like, no! Not the Golden Boy!
Yeah.
But, that's a whole...
We'll have to see what happens with that, because I don't think I've seen any other news on it. I don't think I've seen a decision.
They have to settle. I think Disney's going to have to come around because they breached contract. So I think they're just going to have to settle and pay her a big portion of money to, not hush money, but to drop the whole court case.
She's probably done with Marvel for now.
Oh yeah, Disney's definitely done with her for the moment. But that's something that happened. I mean, it's just the past couple weeks have just been slam packed with just nonstop stuff. But with all the COVID crap, you have to take everything with a grain of salt because it's Venom could come out either in October
how many times has it been delayed? 5 times.
Yeah, I think so because I think it was supposed to come out in July because it was supposed to be a summer movie at one point, and then they're like, nope, we're moving it to around Halloween.
Well, I thought it was September, and then it got pushed a week, and then it got pushed 3 weeks, and it got pushed another week.
Yeah.
So now it's early October, I think.
I think so. So it's just
My goodness.
Everything with a grain of salt, but hopefully we'll get the movies.
At least we know these things exist. People are committing to getting them out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like something's been announced and we haven't seen anything. It's like we know we are on the cusp of the release of a lot of these things, and in the meantime, we're still getting a lot of other content.
Yeah. So, let's talk about the other content. Did you happen to watch the Star Wars Visions trailer?
Oh, I actually haven't. I've kind of like stayed out. I keep seeing the umbrella lightsaber, and I, from what I read, it's basically like What If, but Star Wars. They're not making him stick to canon.
Yeah, and it's anime.
Oh yeah. I
didn't know
even
that.
watch the trailer to be sold on it.
Mm-hmm.
But they're basically letting 7 prominent Japanese studios take a shot at, I guess, an episode each in their own unique style,
mm-hmm.
and tell a story within a Star Wars universe. But it doesn't have to stay. Like I saw like a samurai who had like a thin blade and like a droid with a hat on, and it's like. Stuff.
It's different.
Yeah, it's different, but it's Star Wars, but it's also got that Eastern influence.
Yeah, and you like that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You're wearing it right now.
Yeah, right now I've got a Samurai Boba t-shirt on.
Yeah.
So I definitely.
That's what I was like. Perfect. We're gonna talk about Star Wars Visions, and he's wearing that. Like, perfect.
It's ironic that I haven't watched the trailer. I love Star Wars, but. It's one of those things I don't feel the great need to like watch immediately.
Mm-hmm.
I just love the universe, and I just came back from Galaxy's Edge, and I bought a lightsaber and all the merch and stuff. So I appreciate Star Wars, and I'm a big fan. But I was
it's not Marvel.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. Like, I wasn't born in the 70s when Star Wars was a big, and like our parents' age.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that's their Marvel kind of thing. Star Wars.
Yeah.
Not our parents specifically, but
yes,
the fans
I
of
know
those
what you
movies.
mean. Yeah. I grew up with like the prequels and stuff and the games, so I've got a good appreciation for it. But yeah, Marvel almost has like a greater sense of urgency to watch, because if you miss an episode, you're missing out on big spoilers. If you miss an episode of The Bad Batch, you might not miss anything.
Yeah, I don't hear anyone talk about The Bad Batch. I mean, I do, but it's not like...
Yeah, I've been watching it, and
out,
it's like, there's nothing like massive going on that I haven't watched the last few episodes, so don't quote me. But if you miss an episode of Loki, like, it has implications for the rest of the universe. And Star Wars, at least right now, isn't the same. Like, you could miss Han Solo, you could miss Rogue One. Those help build pieces, but they don't do anything really to the universe.
Yeah. But the only caveat is, I feel like if you miss an episode of The Mandalorian, you're missing out, because it's like The Mandalorian
that's just
is like
quality.
peak.
Yeah, it's just quality. All right, so Star Wars Visions, it exists. When is it coming out?
I have no idea. I just watched
this year.
I think it is this year. I think it's towards the end of this year, but I only saw like the reel on Instagram, so it was only like 30 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I need to watch that trailer, and we need to talk about it, because I'm not an anime fan, but this like piqued my interest. Be like,
yes.
Okay, I'll give this a watch. No, I can't. I tried to watch My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
And I was like, nope. Click. Off we go.
He's a normie. I can't handle the anime.
I can't. But and that kind of brings us into the our next topic. What if?
Oh yes. What if? Huh?
Yeah. What do you think of it? And first off, what do you think of the animation? I can't get Ashley to watch it because she's like, I don't want to watch a cartoon, and I was like, it's building
to me it's like
on the.
It's so quality, and it ties in at key moments. At least last week's episode was it riffed on Captain America 1 more than anything. And I love the art style, the animation. Like, someone I follow created the shield, but in the style of the show, so it looked straight from the show and not like just a normal
shield.
Yeah, Captain Carter shield. And I loved what they did, that they kept like the romance between the two, but reversed it.
Yeah.
And involved Howard and Steve and Peggy.
Yeah.
Even like the weird Hydra monster at the
end.
Yeah. I was just like, I liked everything they did with it. I just wish there was more of that story, because obviously she showed up at the end, like the Avengers timeline.
Yes.
And how that plays out.
Out of Loki's portal.
Yeah.
Or supposed to be Loki's portal.
Yeah, whereas this week felt like a much more like start and stop story. Like it felt complete. It felt like I didn't need anything else answered. It told so much in the little time that it had. Like
it felt like the Captain Carter episode. It felt really short.
Yes.
Where this episode felt not like an hour long, but it felt way longer. I don't know what the time difference is on the two, but I feel like Captain Carter was a little shorter. I feel like
Captain Carter hit a bunch of the points that Captain America 1 did. Like it followed a lot of the same story elements and the same like key moments. Like they got the serum. Oh, they went on this train. Oh, they went and fought Hydra.
Yeah.
And even trying to like recreate key moments, which I think was really good for the first What If episode to see like, what if it was Peggy instead of Steve? And and I think What If episode 2 takes a bolder approach and says like, all right, what if Star-Lord was
T'Challa?
Yeah. And you kind of just see the ramifications of in the entire universe of what that is. And that's where you get the Ravagers, who are good guys, and Thanos is one of them.
That blew my mind.
I know. I was like, I love. Like, he's like, oh, we just settled it.
Yeah, I still think getting rid of half the universe is what we should do.
Yeah, he's
but,
efficient, but yeah, and I love that. I love that T'Challa just somehow talked to Thanos, and when Thanos was like, "Oh, I'm not, what was it? I'm not crazy or genocide." He's like, "I'm mad," and then he went and fought the Black Order. I was like, "Oh my god!" It was just such a quick little thing. It was like highlights of Marvel movies, and the Collector was such a good antagonist for the episode. And then at the end, Peter is seen in a Dairy Queen, and Ego shows up.
Yes,
and I was like, I just loved everything they did. It was like they made this whole universe for this episode, and they brought so much life to it. And of course, it was Chadwick's last performance as T'Challa, and just all of it
for this. I don't think it's going to be this season. I think they said he's in 3 different episodes from this one, and there's 2 others. So
we have some
more to look forward to, but it's so sad.
That is the last stuff we have from him. I was like, oh man,
like where do they go? How do they do it?
Yeah, it was like a perfect episode, but in my opinion, it was just with Nebula and like the different look for people.
Yes, the Nebula with blonde hair. I was like, yeah, this is interesting.
Yeah, it's just like it's so crazy that it works. And like if they can hit that riff, it's almost like Loki when it started introducing all the variants and stuff. It's like it's so crazy that it works.
Yeah. So I agree with you. Like episode 1, Captain Carter needed to be that episode.
Yeah.
Because 1, I love Jeffrey Wright, how he is the Watcher, and that episode, he really explained like in each universe there's a different possibility, and like as they're going through like. Yeah. Like, hey, Captain Carter, do you want to stay down here or you want to go up in the loft? And she's like, I'll stay down here. And when he's like, right there, that's the moment that changed everything. I'm like, oh, shit. Like, is this how we're going to get, like, narrations the whole time? Because that's awesome.
Dude, I love his narrations, though. And I love the start of every episode.
I was going to say, I think episode 1 had to be kind of a slow build because of that.
They had to introduce the concept a bit.
Yeah, and the normal people that like the casual popcorner compared to like us nerds that are like we know everything about it kind of thing. They're gonna have to know like, oh, like I just watch Disney Plus or shows just because they're new. So I need they need a good explanation of, hey, this is what's happening right now, and episode 1 I thought did a perfect job of that, and then episode 2 you get kind of the same thing, but it's not as like there's the difference there, or
it's not as over. They just kind of do it and they're like, yep, this is what happens.
You should know by now like what's going to happen the rest of these episodes kind of thing.
Just the characterization that they managed to pull off. Like Drax was in there, and I think this is probably how we're going to get the Thanos Gamora that we see in the promo art. It's because Thanos probably didn't go to the world, or maybe he did, and maybe she took over the Empire after he left. Yeah. That type of thing. And I'll be interested to see how many of these what if scenarios are in the same universe, or if they're like if we get a Captain Carter to meet up with T'Challa, if it's in the same universe.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I mean the possibilities are endless, I guess.
That's a good point. I didn't even think like, oh, this is. I was thinking, each one's gonna be a different universe, but I didn't think like, oh, this could all be one universe, but it's like a different.
That would be really. That would be a cool reveal on like the last episode that everyone combines and they have like a weird Avengers team. Mm-hmm. Hey, it could happen.
Yeah, it could. That's what I like about this show so far. I think next week we get a Loki episode, is what it was. I can't remember what exactly it's called, but I know it involves Loki.
Yeah.
So
I love how simple the episode titles are. It's like, what if Peggy Carter was Captain America?
Yeah.
What if T'Challa was a Star-Lord? I'm like, they don't have to think about what the titles are. They're like, hey, let's do this, and that's going to be the episode.
Yeah, it's kind of like obviously you've watched Friends.
Yes.
The one with
T'Challa as Star-Lord.
Yeah. That's exactly what when I first saw like, what if Peggy Carter was Captain America? I was like, this sounds just like the Friends. Like, that one time.
No, yeah, but it feels like a guilty pleasure to watch it. You're like, I know it's all canon, but it may not have like great ramifications for anything.
And I think it's a test too, though. Like, what characters do these people like? Because I feel like we're gonna get a live action Peggy Carter eventually.
Ooh.
And
Captain Carter.
Yeah.
I mean, the person that plays her in the show played her in real life, so.
Yeah. Right? So what do you think about the voice acting, though?
Yeah, all of it so far has been, even the guy who played Steve, who's not Chris Evans, I think he did a phenomenal job.
It took me a minute to recognize that it wasn't. I mean, you can hear it sometimes, but other times I was like, shit, that is almost spot on.
Yeah, and I appreciate that they're trying to mimic that and not just do like completely new versions.
Kind of like the Avengers game.
Yeah, like they're building on the Steve that we know from the first Captain America and kind of swapping it and be like, what if he did get powers? We already know he's a great guy.
Yeah.
And just going with that. Like the souls of the characters are intact. Because T'Challa, like the T'Challa we knew by the end was like much more like peaceful and like he wanted to build bridges. And that's the Star-Lord we see.
Yeah.
And it's just really cool kind of seeing the legacy of these characters play out.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm excited for the rest of the episodes. I think we're getting...
What is it?
9 episodes.
9. That's the most we've gotten in a while.
Yeah, so 9 episodes.
Used to 6. All right, so the Eternals trailer came out today. We gotta jump to that because it's probably the newest thing that's happened. And yeah, I like the first trailer. Josh was much more excited than me.
Yeah,
but
it's because I like obscure characters and they're more obscure, and I'm not like an Eternals aficionado.
Yeah,
but I'm more into space stories, kind of.
No, Cosmic Marvel is like the best Marvel to me.
Yeah.
So, gosh, the effects. I love how they all like have like the yellow glowy
gold.
bit. Yeah, and Richard Madden. I don't know what character he's playing because I don't know the Eternals at all, but I've got like Man of Steel vibes from him because he's flying around. He's got laser eyes, and even the camera work and how it follows him and the few shots that he's in. I was just like, man, I love this. And Kumail does like finger guns and shoots this deviant.
Yeah.
And me and Josh were talking about the design for them, and Josh mentioned, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So whenever they show the deviant villain, I watched the trailer earlier with the closed captions on, and they said the deviant villain is Crow, which is like the head of the deviants, and he's like a love interest for Angelina Jolie's character.
Maybe that's why they were up so
Cena.
Close.
Yeah. So I think they're going to build off that, but Crow, to me, when I first watched it, I was like, why is he so stringy looking? And I thought, like, is he like a man?
Shapeshifter?
Yeah, I cannot say that. So I first I thought that, and I was like, he kind of looks like a symbiote though. So maybe that could be like a symbiote is a deviant, but a lesser deviant, and then they kind of go off and do their own thing. I don't know. It just looked very symbiotic to me, and
Actually,
I was like,
I just remember what I thought. Like, they look so familiar to me. If anyone's seen Edge of Tomorrow or Live, Die, Repeat with Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt, those aliens are kind of like super stringy and flowy, and they look pretty similar to that. Maybe with a bit more form in the Eternals. But
never seen that movie.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to bring up an image. But yeah, I love the design. I love the cinematography that looks like it's present, and even the humor. And of course, they address like, oh, we weren't allowed to interfere with Thanos because
yes,
which is,
I think that was the biggest question.
On.
Yeah,
because we were told not to, unless a deviant was involved. But like literally half the universe died because. Oh, I bet they had to feel some guilt there.
Yeah, and I think there's a scene where it shows the guy that's playing Fastos. And
was he like crying?
Yeah, he's like crying, and I was like, "Oh, is that after?"
Here, I'm showing Josh the aliens from Edge of Tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty close. I mean, it's not spot on, but like you almost feel like they got a design idea for that movie.
Kind of tendrily, oily, alien-looking things.
Yeah, not human, or not human, but
yeah, not one complete.
Like almost organic looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they showed a celestial, and I'm like, some people were like, "Oh, is that Galactus?" And they're like, "Oh, it's been so long since you've seen him in a movie, never that you forgot what he looked like." And just like I know we saw one in Guardians of the Galaxy, like a flashback of the Power Stone, but if we get to see like an actual living celestial.
Oh, I think the deviants are going to be like cannon fodder. Like they're going to be a villain, but they're just going to be a villain to get in the way, and then the Celestials come, and the Eternals have to fight the Celestials.
Wow.
That's what I think is going to probably happen.
Do you think it's going to be like the original Suicide Squad, where like the Enchantress has all these like clay, stone like enemies, and they're going to be like them, and then you will go and fight the two gods, basically.
Kind of, but not that crappy.
Oh yeah,
that was a shit movie. But I digress. But I think the deviants are going to stay around. I don't think they're just going to like defeat them and go away. The deviants are going to stay around because the Eternals are obviously going to be more involved in the MCU. So I think it'll be they're always going to be there kind of thing now. But I think it's going to be the start of like the Celestials coming back to Earth and judging the planet and like deciding, should we destroy this planet or not? And then the Celestials the Eternals have to fight the Celestials. So I kind of think that's how it's going to go. That's just my theory. And I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only one that thinks that, but anyone that's read more Eternals comics than me probably like, you're wrong, but who knows? That's just my theory.
Captain Carter's going to come and kill the Celestials.
She's going to come out of the space portal and be like, hey, I'm going to take these Celestials out.
Yeah.
With her sword.
I mean, the sword and shield was cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
I'll remember that.
What do you think about the different characters? Like the diversity of the cast, I love.
Yeah, because I mean, we saw their costumes, I guess, more or less when it got announced, and saw the lineup there, but we hadn't seen really what it would look like in the movie, and I think it just fits each person so well.
Yeah, and they all click.
Yes,
just from the trailer.
Yeah, they're all different enough, but they all feel similar. And you can see there's some like they're a bit disorganized. Like Richard Madden's like, oh, we have to find the rest, and then you have Kit Harington's. What's his character?
Oh, it's the Black Knight. It's the Black Knight, but I can't remember. Dane Whitman, I think, is what his name is.
So he's there, and he's like, why didn't you guys help? And so like you have this human and the Eternals and deviants, so you've got a bunch of different parties here, and it's from pretty much all the Marvel movie viewers, it's going to be new, so they've got a lot of world building to do.
Yeah, and I think it'll fill in gaps, like obviously I think this movie's gonna go in the past because you see like images of them in the past.
Yes.
So we'll get stuff in the past, and then maybe we'll get like modern day stuff where it's like, hey, do you remember when the Battle of New York happened? Like Cersei, Gemma Chan, was 5 blocks down the street when that happened because she lived in New York, and it kind of shows like that, but she can't do anything about it, obviously. So we could get like kind of like what Avengers Endgame did, how it filled in gaps, like this is what was happening in the background.
Yes.
But
take what you already know and put a twist on it.
Like at Sanctum Sanctorum, when Tilda Swinton, the
it was like,
one,
Doctor Strange is over here.
Yeah, exactly. So that's, to me, that would be cool just to see like the different point of view like in those times. But I think we're gonna get a lot of time, not time travel, but we'll be going through time in that movie.
I imagine probably the first half or third of the movie is going to be a lot of like exposition, maybe like one combat scene to show like their capability. Yeah. But a lot of like interacting with the Eternals and probably gathering them. And then hopefully a lot of fighting because it looked cool. They've all got like, one looked like he had like powerful fists, another one was shooting out of their fingers, another was shooting out of their eyes. Angelina Jolie had like a sword or a spear and shield. Yeah. I'm like, what are their powers? They can do whatever they want apparently. Yeah. And I hope this movie actually comes out on November 3rd. Yes. I can hope we get I hope we need to get Shang-Chi out of the way first. Yes. And then just keep trucking on. Which is coming. And I think they revealed a better look at Abomination. Showed how much more fish-like he had become. Almost like an evolution of basically his character. Yeah. Which, I mean, me and Josh will talk about that once that releases. I think we're both excited.
Definitely going to see it in the theater.
Yeah, we both didn't care about Black Widow, about seeing it in theaters as much. So this one's, I think, our first one where we're like, we got to go out, we got to go see it. Yeah. And nothing against Black Widow. It's just one of those things where it's a character we already know. Obviously, I love the movie. Yeah, you knew the effects weren't going to be like anything more than hand-to-hand combat, basically. Yeah. But this is just new character. We're like finally in the new phase, like full on at like this movie is phase 4. This is like welcome to phase 4 movies kind of thing, where like we've had the TV shows like, oh, this is phase 4, but now this is gonna be like, this is a phase 4 movie, like yes, like back in the theater. Yeah, and I'm excited to go back to the theater because I haven't been back to one yet. So for 2 years almost. Oh my gosh. Yeah. 2019 was the last time we went to see Endgame. Oh, wow. Yeah. He's gone a lot longer than I have. But we've also had a kid in that time span as well, so... Yes, we moved away from all the nearby theaters. Yeah. Yeah. But I'm excited for Eternals, like I said. Hopefully everything stays the same and it comes out on November 3rd, which is kind of funny because... Shang-Chi comes out on September 3rd. So. October, November. Yep, 2 short months. So let's just get through. We've got that. We've got the Guardians of the Galaxy game. Yep. There'll be a lot of things to fill the gap in between. Which is, I'm like, I've got too much stuff to do. Not enough time. Like, I wish I didn't have to sleep right now. Yeah. Because I want to try out the War for Wakanda expansion on Avengers. I want to try out Black Panther. I still need to finish Avengers. I've been playing it here and there, but I haven't like sat down. As dumb as this sounds, me and Grayson have been playing the Zoo Tycoon game on Microsoft, or on Xbox. You just got to build a zoo. Yeah, and it's fun. But that's been my life for the past like week of getting on the Xbox and like showing him the different animals on there, and he loves it. Monkey. Yeah. But I'm super hyped for Guardians of the Galaxy, and man, hopefully a new Spider-Man game before too long. I know we just got one at the end of last year, but surely they were working on number 2. Yeah, I think they gotta be. But with talking about Guardians of the Galaxy, we're gonna kind of keep it on that same topic with James Gunn at least.
let's talk about the Suicide Squad. Because obviously, Suicide Squad came out like 2 weeks ago now.
Yes, the 2021 iteration.
Yes, the good version of the Suicide Squad.
Yes. Yeah, I watched it on hotel Wi-Fi, and was super disappointed in the Wi-Fi and not the movie. So I'm gonna watch it in 4K this weekend on some good internet. But I loved it. I think Josh feels very similarly. That he's wearing a Suicide Squats.
Yeah,
because he's doing a workout challenge right now. I'm like, James Gunn, like what, where have you been?
Yeah,
and just the comedy,
the visuals.
Yeah, the depth.
I think that's what I like about his movies so much is that, like Guardians 1, you got like when they went into space, like the color and the visuals of the movie, just like so like extravagant and like refined. And it was the same way with this movie too, because like you had these really like drab scenes, and then like when Harley busts out of the prison that she's in, and it's like, and you have the color all over the place, and like the animated little animals like watching her.
Yes, and
I'm like, that is just so.
Yes,
like not.
And
it's not so.
Man.
Yes,
it's just like even in their more dreary environment, they had these like pops of color and. Even if it was blood, like he used it well. Yeah, and it was gory, but it wasn't like, oh my god, I can't watch this movie. Gory. No, I thought it was hilariously gory.
Yeah,
like
no, I'm saying like it's not like you're watching Saw.
Yes, yeah, no, like ugh.
Yeah,
I know. In the beginning, I was like, everyone's dying, getting their head exploded, bleeding out.
Yeah, I love Blackguard. He's like, guys. I'm the one that called, and he gets shot in the face.
Yes. It was a proper way for him to go out.
Yeah.
And
then everyone else started dying, and when Javelin and Harley...
Yes.
their little conversation, he's like, you should take my Javelin and give it to... and she's like, who do I give it to?
So throughout the whole movie, she's trying to figure out what to do with it, and obviously uses it to stab Starro's eye. And it's even that, like swimming in Starro's like eye juice. Yeah, just great. And I love Starro as the villain. I wish what was it? He's not the Tinkerer, is he?
The Thinker.
The Thinker.
Yeah.
I wish he did a bit more. Like you got to see why he had a big brain.
Yeah.
But
that's why actually when Ashley watched it, she's like, "What's put the freaking things out of his head?" And I'm like, "I don't know."
Yeah, he thinks. But even that, man, it was just a really good film. Idris Elba stepped up. Oh, he was definitely the film's equivalent to Will Smith and like leading the film and making it better than it could have been.
But I think he did a better. Like I love Will Smith, but I think he did a way better job than Will Smith.
Yeah, I know he was so tough, but. He very clearly had like a tender side, even if he didn't want to address it in the movie. Yeah, yeah.
I loved Ratcatcher too.
Yes, that scene with her dad in Paris, and it was Taika Waititi. I was like, what? Yeah. And I was like, whoa, this movie just got like better. Yeah. Just because of that flashback and even like the tenderness of like, oh, even if the lowly rats have a purpose, then what do I? And I was like, what? I'm like, why do I feel things for the Suicide Squad movie? And
why do I feel for this girl that controls rats?
Yeah. It's just crazy what they did with the time. Yeah. They had, I guess, 2 hours of runtime. And
yeah, they did a lot. I think he did a lot in the movie. And, like, a lot of good, though. Like, we were introduced to these characters. I mean, obviously, like, the Team 1 got, like, decimated. And you kind of still got... introduced to them pretty good.
Yes. And Boomerang and TDK. It was hilarious.
That whole first scene, when I watched it, because I watched it by myself first, and then Ashton watched it the next night with me. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is... You don't know who's going to die the whole time. And that's what I loved about it, though, too. And hated about it, because I was like... When Polka Dot Man died, I was like, damn it! Like, that was like my favorite character.
Smash. I know. But I was like, yeah. I love that they can be taken away at a moment's notice. It's just so weird and whimsical in a way. Yeah.
because you don't get that in superhero movies. I mean, whatever you want to call it, supervillain, superhero.
Yeah, as pleasing as it would be to the viewer to be like, oh, everyone's safe, it's also the Suicide Squad, and I think James Gunn is like, yep, it is the Suicide Squad. So you may like these people, but they're probably going to die.
Yeah.
So like Josh had said, like Rick Flag's death, I mean, it was visceral. They did like an X-ray finisher from Mortal Kombat on him, and just straight up showed his heart getting like impaled.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, Peacekeeper. Like,
and that was like I felt nothing for Rick Flag in the first movie. Yeah. I was like, this guy's a dick, and he sucks. And because it was like the whole time with like Enchantress or whatever, and I was just like, this sucks. Like I do not like I don't like the actor. And then I watched Altered Carbon on Netflix, and he's like the main guy in that movie or that show. And I was like, okay, Suicide Squad just sucked. But I like the actor. And then this movie, it just gave him so much more character. And like him and Harley's relationship was so good. And like obviously Harley Quinn, like I would say she probably like stole the show because it was, I mean, Margot Robbie is amazing as Harley Quinn. And I thought their relationship was really awesome. And the movie I thought was just, it's my favorite DC movie, and no holding back. Like that's number one. Like out of all the DC movies I've ever seen, that's number one.
I know, that's crazy because when you think about it, aside from Starro, they didn't do anything like extraordinary. It wasn't no one had like insane powers. I guess Polka Dot Man has like the craziest powers we've seen in the movie. But outside of that, it was just like shooting people, comedy, good action, good dialogue. Like outside of the action, it was like the world was being built, the characters were being built.
I loved how every time they went back to like Amanda Waller and the team,
even the people are like,
yeah. Well, that and how they're gambling on like, this person's gonna die first, this person's gonna die first, or whatever.
Yeah.
I love that whole aspect because it's the Suicide Squad, so why not gamble against those people?
And how ruthless Waller was, like the whole movie, like she blew off the guy
Savant.
Savant's head, and then she was gonna like kill everyone else, but thankfully the team there was like stopped her because otherwise, I mean, that fits her character perfectly. She's relentless.
Yeah, and that scene was intense. She's like, motherfuckers, turn back around. And I was like, oh, she's going to blow them all up. And then that girl hits her. I'm like, yes.
Yeah. And then they survive. And then by the end, they're all free.
Yep.
Because
they've
got the blackmail.
Which I was like, perfect. Because obviously we're going to get the Peacemaker show.
Yes.
And they get led right into that. The two people, the two actors, and the actor and actress were like, oh, he's gonna save the fucking world.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, oh, what is this gonna be about?
I know, and he's like, I'll kill as many men, women, and children as I need to keep the peace. And I was like, man, this is like a super dedicated guy that you see why he's doing the stuff he's doing, but it's also, he's not like blind about it either. Like he knows exactly what he's doing. He realizes that sometimes it sucks. Like when he killed Flag.
Yeah. You could tell that got to him too.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like he killed him to kill him. It it got to him. And when he was getting ready to kill Ratcatcher.
Oh yeah.
The whole time he's like, I don't want to do this, kid. And you could tell he was like, he was gonna do it no matter what. But
those are his
morals.
Values. Yeah, and he's holding to them.
Yeah.
So I'll be excited to see a show, and I surprisingly love John Cena as like a...
Yes. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
He's had some good movies, but like I thought this movie, like I was like, okay, John Cena's finally becoming an actor.
Rock. He's going to become the new Rock.
Yeah.
Except a little bit later.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
You go.
No, I was just gonna say, I just thought this movie he's really come out of his shell. Maybe it's just because it's a movie that's so crazy, he can act a little bit crazier. And like, I've seen in all his interviews, like he took the Peacemaker
he just wears the costume.
And he wears a costume everywhere. Yeah. Yep. So I think that's awesome.
He probably really likes the character because I mean, he's led things before and been the lead, but to be like the star of your own show and in this own movie, like, it probably feels good too.
Yeah.
Like, I'd absolutely wear it if I had it.
We're missing like the star of the show, King Shark.
Yes.
I absolutely love King Shark.
Like, I knew it was Sylvester Stallone before, but I had forgotten about it by the time I watched it. And then when I found that out again, I was like, oh yeah, just made it a little bit better.
Yeah.
It's just, because I've watched The Flash and I know that version of him. That's kind of like a man who lost his mind and turned into a shark.
Boo.
But this version was just like dumb shark man thing. That was...
Yeah, the explanation. What is he? They think he's a deity of a shark tribe. It's like, that's all you really get.
Oh yeah, you don't get
his name's Nanaue, and that's about it.
You don't get any backstory, but I love him because he's almost like this big scary teddy bear, almost, that can eat people. Or
whenever he's eating Ratcatcher, and she's like,
"Oh yeah,
were you really gonna eat me?" He's like, "Hungry." Just like the one word responses.
Oh man, yeah, just the comedic aspect that James Gunn threw into this movie, like when they murder everyone that's on the Resistance and they find out it's the Resistance.
That's my favorite scene of the movie.
They're basically just like keeping track of who can kill better. And they're debating, and then they figure out they killed all the good people that were their allies.
Like when, John Cena and Idris Elba are going through and doing their like...
He's like, oh, that's non-lethal.
Yeah. That's like an exploding bullet.
Yeah.
But then Polka Dot Man, he uses his polka dots and takes down that whole tower.
Oh yeah.
And then like every character gets their moment.
Yes.
Kind of thing. But that's my favorite scene just because it's like you walk in, Rick Flags just talking to the girl, and they're like, What are you guys doing here?
Now that you know what it is, it changes the whole scene. Yeah. It was just really quality DC stuff, and it was funny because I had seen tweets that at one point James Gunn had considered Superman being the villain, and I think he said that was true, but he quickly dropped it. And then you see the Suicide Squad game for next year. It's Suicide Squad versus the Justice League, and like one of the goals will be to take out Superman.
Yeah. So you definitely see that was like a...
It was probably on his mind, so he probably wanted to avoid it, honestly.
Well, that, or they thought, oh, James Gunn is going to use Superman as the villain. Well, let's back this game up as Superman as a villain, kind of thing. You know what I mean? The only reason I know that is because I listened to another podcast, and they were talking about that. Like, hey, that's probably where they got the idea for the Suicide Squad game, was the original, because they want to kind of tie those, tie the games and the movies together, kind of thing.
Well, now Injustice is being made into an animated movie.
That'd be cool.
So the guy who made Mortal Kombat made Injustice happen, and that's kind of nuts. That the story's coming alive all because he wanted to make Superman a villain. Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Man, I had something else I was going to say, but I totally blanked out just a minute ago. I can't not remember. But we will keep you guys up to date with everything next week. Anything last closer to say before we end the show? No, sorry it's been so long. We'll be more consistent now. No vacations until at least next year. Yeah. Yep. We're going to go to Disney in April. Oh, I was just thinking. Thursday night, our movie releases. So maybe Friday. Thursday night? Yeah, Thursday night. Or like when you can see the movie. It's always the day before the official release that you can see. But not this Thursday night. No. Yeah. No. Yeah. Like in 2 Thursday nights, I may go see. Yeah, so we'll have to do a Friday podcast. No, we can't because I probably won't watch it till Friday night or Saturday. That's what's going to be hard on like release weeks. Yeah. Like I might have seen it and Josh might wait because he's got a family and a child. He can't just abandon them and go be like, hey, I want to go watch a movie for the podcast. And another thing, I don't like going to movies on Thursday night because I don't like waking up tired. Oh, I mean, if you get there at 8 and you leave by 10:30. Yeah, I guess that's not when we lived up north. I was like 30 minutes away from the closest movie theater. And it was like, oh, God, the drive back sucked.
Yeah, that would be
But now we're not too far.
Yeah.
But...
yeah, I'm excited for all things to come.
Yep. We'll keep everyone up to date on everything we kind of talked about, and we will be consistent again. And, yeah, we will see you guys next week.